Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Monday the 30th of September 2024. And we will start off and I will tell you that Macaulay Langstaff and George Honeyman have made the Championship, Sky Bet Championship EFL Team of the Week. How about that? So there you go. And we're moving on to this. Emakhu has got his 3-game ban. The club did not contest it, so it starts immediately. Obviously, they had to do it quickly because there's a game tomorrow, and that means that the game tomorrow is the first game of a 3-game suspension. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. was posted up this morning. Millwall attacker Emakhu hit. Ouch! With 3-game ban for sending off in Preston North End win. Emakhu will serve a 3-match suspension for his red card in Millwall's 3-1 defeat to Preston North End. The Republic of Ireland under-21 international had been booked by referee Darren Bond. Boo! After the youngster went down after taking the ball past Liam Lindsay, but Emakhu was then sent off by Bond after angrily confronting Robbie Brady, who appeared to dig a small kick into the former Shamrock Rovers striker as he got back up off the turf. Mill have not appealed the decision. Emakhu will start his ban tomorrow night at Cardiff City. He will also miss the matches at West Bromwich Albion on Saturday and the home fixture against Derby County on October the 19th. So there used to be a website on the FA where you could see the players' suspensions and how long they are and various ones that they were, because there is a suspension for all games and there's a suspension for first team games, because obviously we do have an under 21s game tomorrow, so I'm wondering, will he play in that? But don't know, but obviously won't be at Cardiff. Now, moving on to this, so obviously they did an interview with Joe Bryan. I assume it was post-match. And we've got 2 stories, one from the Southern News, and then the next one's going to be from the South London Press. Basically from that interview with Joe Bryan. So here we go. We fight for each other in the club. Millwall defender praises team culture. Millwall defender Joe Bryan was full of praise for his team's culture after the Lions picked up their 2nd win of the season at home against Preston North End. Oh, we're all fighting for a common goal, and I think that's drilled into you from a young age in football, Bryan said. You know, as soon as you step across the line into the training ground or onto the pitch here, your upbringing and everything about you gets put to the side and you become a Millwall player. And there's another 10 of you on the pitch and we fight for each other and the club. Bryan, now in his 2nd season at the Den, took time to adjust to the demands of being a Millwall player. I think there's definitely aspects of being a Millwall player that I didn't understand, the first season that I was here, Bryan said. Yeah, it takes a while to learn, and you have to put that your body on the line, and you have to run until you can't run anymore, and you have to buy into that culture. The 31-year-old endured an injury-plagued first season, only starting 16 games in all competitions, but he's forced himself back into managing Neil Harris's plans after a strong pre-season. He started all 9 games this season and has made the left-back spot his own. The team culture that Bryan took inspiration from is constantly worked on by the players, and it's an important part of building up team chemistry. I think it's worked on. It's definitely something that the senior lads at this club are big on. It's everyone hanging out, and we've got a good culture where it's jokey, but it's all about standards. It's all about being professional. The senior players not only set the standards, but are also in charge of setting the fines. While players handing out punishments could cause tensions, it's often a source of entertainment for the players and helps further strengthen team chemistry. Sean Hutchinson and Jake Cooper, senior lads have been here for a long, long time. They look after that and they implement it in the right way, which builds professionalism. But it also builds team spirit and camaraderie, and it's done in a humorous way. The last time I got fined, I left the mug out at lunch, and it was a £25 or £50 fine. And it's quite funny, everyone just stays quiet until you do it. I left some tablets on the table, and if you leave anything and you leave the room, everyone goes quiet. And as soon as you cross the doorway, everyone goes, "Hey!" Which was quite funny. And the story just ends there. So, a little insight into what's going on behind the scenes there. And moving on to second part from the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. from that Bryan interview. Unorthodox. Mill defender hails front four after Preston attacking display. Joe Bryan has hailed Mill's front four after their 3-1 win over Preston North End at the Den on Saturday afternoon. George Honeyman opened the scoring after 24 minutes when he finished off Macaulay Langstaff's cross along the face of the goal. Lions doubled their lead 14 minutes later when Duncan Watmore found Romain Esse's clever run and the youngster rounded Freddie Woodman to score. Honeyman assisted Langstaff 2 minutes into the second half for his first Mill goal since signing from League Two side Notts County in the summer. Left back Bryan said, "Oh, Rom, he's getting applauded to the moment because he's such a fantastic player. He's improving every game with the other three guys. Mac has taken a while to find his feet in the league, which is natural. It takes a while. And the jump up for him, it's been massive, and he showed what he was all about today. Duncan and George charge around. They might be unorthodox, but they're playing really well, and a credit to every single one of the four. Honeyman, 30, missed a golden chance late on to claim all 3 points against QPR last time out. And Bryan said, "Oh, you talk about mentality and bouncing back from result and individual moment in a game. That's what football's all about. He's buried that ball today, and hopefully he buried that demon creeping into the game after that miss against QPR." Ex-Fulham defender Bryan has made a strong start to the season, but he was not looking to praise his own performances. "Oh, I feel really good so far. I'm feeling fit. Hopefully there's still more to come, and I can still give more at both ends of the pitch. It's nice to be able to show glimpses of the player that I've been in the past." Indeed it is. So there you go. He did play well the other day, but like I said, the games where he's been a bit dodgy are some of the 12:30 kickoffs. So I don't know whereabouts he lives, if he still lives out west, and how long he has to commute to the training to the games. Maybe that's not even an issue. I don't know. I don't stalk him on Instagram. I don't know. But he needs to get more. He is an old man. He needs to get some sleep before he needs to get the same amount of sleep that he does for a 12:30 kickoff than he does for a 3 o'clock kickoff, which would mean like boringly going to bed at 9 p.m. on Friday, which is ridiculous. But you got to do what you got to do. Now, moving on to this, a bit of nostalgia. What's David Livermore doing? Why is he giving the cameraman a bit of shit? Do you remember this? It was 20 years ago today that Dennis Wise told the Millwall players to play in the UEFA Cup in Ferencvaros. 20 years on. Yes, 20 years on. Are you feeling old yet? Lions foray into UEFA Cup. Thursday, the 30th of September 2004. It was 20 years ago today. Following Millwall Football Club historically reaching the 2004 FA Cup final, qualification for the 2004-2005 UEFA Cup was secured, and the draw pulled the Lions out with the Hungarian champions Ferencvaros with the home leg to come first. And obviously since then, because we did this, and I think Wigan did it as well, they changed the rules so that the UEFA or the European place would not go to the cup runners-up, and it would go to the Premier League. And obviously that's a shame because it's going to be a lot harder to get there. But although, to be fair, I think since the early 2000s and a bit later, I would say probably from 2010 onwards, maybe 2015, I think every FA Cup final has been contested by 2 of the big 4, is it not? It's either Arsenal or Man United or Chelsea or Man City. It's it's getting harder and harder for anyone else who isn't one of those teams to get involved. Now, pop quiz, hot shot. Can you name these players? We will start at the back row on the left. That is Marvin Elliott. You're not going to get this one, and no, you're not. Who's the keeper? That is Graham Stack. And then we have Darren Ward, David Livermore when he had hair, and like I said, he was seemingly giving the cameraman a bit of a bollocking, it looks like. Matty Lawrence finds something hilariously funny. Then we've got Paul Eiffel there. Kevin Muscat. Dennis Wise looking very serious indeed. Next to Dennis Wise, can you remember that? Who is that player? Who is that player? Give you a clue if you haven't got it yet. Canadian, one of the two. That's Josh Simpson. I believe it's Josh Simpson. Now, who's that? Rather zen-like, smiling, happy man next to Josh Simpson. That is Jody Morris. And who, last but not least, who's that there? Well, it's the one and only Neil Harris. Looking a lot younger than he does these days, so there you go. And as we go through, can you see, do you know who any of these other players are? Mark McCammon there, so that must have been a substitute coming on. Neil Harris. Who's that? Do you remember? He doesn't look like that now. He's put on a bit of timber since then. That's Peter Sweeney. Remember him? Yeah. Who is that? Do you know who that is? You probably don't. I will give you a clue. Irish, so he is. He's Irish, so he is. That is Barry. Got it yet? Barry Cogan. Barry Cogan, that is. Here's again Dennis Wise. And that's at the end of the game. There's some of the fans. Looking incredibly happy. And there he is, the Ferencvaros stand. And there's Ray Wilkins, obviously, sadly since departed. So here you go. Competitive football in Europe. Dennis Wise's free kick secured a 1-1 draw in FC16 in a game Millwall should have won, but a 3-1 loss in Budapest was enough to see Wise and Ray Wilkins side exit the competition in the first round. A gallery of images from that memorable evening can be seen above. And here you can see the team. Well, this can't be right then, because how the fuck did McCammon get on the pitch? What's going on with the official site and the team? They're not getting it right. We clearly see a picture of McCammon on the pitch. So that's this. Well, I'll just go through it because they're saying it. Stack, Lawrence, Muscat, Ward, Simpson, Elliott, Wise, Morris, Livermore, Eiffel, Harris. And they've got the subs as Sweeney on for Simpson on 61, Cogan on for Harrison 69. And then on the bench, Andy Marshall on the bench with McCammon, Dunn and Phillips. But obviously we know Mark McCammon got on the pitch. Yeah. Because he's literally fucking right there. So that's not right. Okay. So there you go. Now moving on to the loan watch. See, it's going to be a long video today. So if you see anything you don't like, just skip ahead, because at the end, obviously, we have to preview the game tomorrow. We got a game on Tuesday, and we've just had a game on Saturday. It's all guns blazing. Tom Leahy has scored. Bosh. This is from millfc.co.uk. Tom Leahy and Chin Ockley went head-to-head in the Vanarama National League last weekend. Sutton United came out on top in the meeting between Steve Morrison's side and Woking at the Laithwaite Community Stadium. But Leahy did notch his first Woking strike in consolation, scoring 16 minutes from time, 8 minutes after stepping off the bench to half a deficit in a 2-1 loss. So yeah, he came off the bench and scored. What else can you do? Ockley, meanwhile, played the full game. Elsewhere, Shamar Lawson featured in the first half of Ipswich United's 2-1 home loss to Oldham Athletic. That game was shown live on TV. I didn't watch it because it's on the Zone, but I don't have all that shit. He got taken off at half time. I don't know what that was about. Was he okay? Did he get injured? Was he not playing too good? Was it a tactical thing? Maybe he's not the fitness, because he's playing for the under-21s and playing men's football is a totally different ball game. Kamal Grant was withdrawn at half-time as well during Bromley's 1-1 Sky Bet League 2 draw at home to MK Dons, Basart Topology's replacement. So, again, what was that about? Was it a tactical change because he's a defender? But then Basart Topology is also a defender, but a different kind of defender. But I don't know what's going on there. In Scotland, Kevin Nisbet found the net again for Aberdeen as he opened the scoring in their 2-1 win at Dundee. And here we go again. Why do they keep include? This is really getting on my tits now. Zion Fleming was absent from Burnley's matchday squad as they drew 0-0 at Oxford United. I thought he's gone. It's a loan, but there is an obligation to buy at the end of the loan. So why is he in the loan watch? Really pissing me off. So if you're not going to Cardiff tomorrow and you're not watching the game, there are some local games involved featuring these young Millwall players out on loan. Tom Leahy, Woking versus Brighton, under 21s. In this new competition, which you haven't heard of, I think it literally just got announced like 2 weeks ago. I don't know if they were discussing it behind the scenes. So it's a cup competition like the Football League trophy, which, if you don't know what that is, that's all windscreens, when we got to the final, that one. But it's just for National League teams, and they've invited Premiership under-21 teams into it. And there's some kind of talk that it's like some kind of potential bribe or some kind of sweetener in terms of giving them deals. But the way they've done it is that all of the Premier League under-21 teams will be playing away games. So these teams and their fans don't even get to travel to the Premier League teams' grounds to play their games. It's going to be like a group of 3, and then it's going to go into knockout. And yeah, it's just bizarre. And they've thrown this in when you've got these teams playing a lot of cup games now. They're just throwing all the cup games in. And apparently a lot of fans are not happy about this competition because they see it as like some kind of attempt by the Premier League to kind of buy the support of the National League for this upcoming deal that I don't know if it's still got done or not, the pay deal from the Premier League, because obviously the government's getting involved now, which I totally disagree with. But yeah, the fans might not even turn out for this. So will they even get enough attendees to pay the electricity bill? Don't know. For some reason, Sutton United aren't playing in it, unless that's a mistake by millwallfc.co.uk. But yeah. So yeah, Shamal Lawson, Ebbsfleet United versus West Bromwich Albion under 21s. Although they're in our league. Oh, you know what it is? It's Category 1. It's Category 1 under 21. So obviously we're Category 2, so we're not involved in any of that stuff. We could, if we had a Category 1 under 21 team, we could play in the Football League trophy like the Premier League teams do. We could ask to be invited. They could say no, because obviously not all the Premier League teams are involved. And we could play in this competition as well if we had a Category 1 under 21 team, which we can't until we get to the new training ground. So Bromley versus Chesterfield. So obviously that's in League 2. That's tomorrow. And then let's see, there's other games going on. So there we go. That's the Lone Watch. Moving on to, it's a double match day tomorrow. We have the first team playing in Cardiff. We have the under-21s playing at home at Calmont Road, the training ground, versus Queen's Park Rangers. Because of that, obviously some of the first team substitute players that could play in this game, such as obviously they played in the last game last Tuesday versus Colchester, Murray Wallace, Harding, Emakhu, Kelly, Aziz played but got injured. The second goalkeeper, Roberts. I imagine this is going to be a very young team because all those players will be off in Cardiff, in Wales. So, yeah. Mills under-21s take on Queen's Park Rangers in the Professional Development League on Tuesday afternoon. The kickoff is at 1 p.m. Kevin Nugent's side face a third fixture in 7 days following last week's 3-0 win over Colchester United and Friday's loss at Fleetwood. Updates from the match will be available at Mill Academy on X, and then there's going to be a match report after the game. So there you go. But again, I think it's going to be a young team, so it could be a bit close of a game. Now we're going to start off previewing the Cardiff game with some comments from Neil Harris. Difficult to appease everybody. Mill boss Neil Harris on Cardiff City boss pressures as he gets set for a return to former club. This is from the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. Neil Harris only has fond memories of his time in charge of Cardiff City ahead of his first return as opposition boss on Tuesday night. Mill will head to Wales looking to build on a dominant 3-1 victory over Preston North End at the weekend. Harris succeeded Neil Warnock at Cardiff in November 2019 and led them to the Championship playoffs, where they lost in the semi-finals to eventual winners Fulham. He was sacked in January 2021 after a run of 6 straight defeats. Asked to look back on his Cardiff spell, Lions head coach Harris said, very enjoyable, strange during COVID times as well. Vincent Tan was class, absolute class, man. I got on great with him, great support from Vin Kenchu and Mehmet Dalman. I loved it. Obviously, we got very, very close to the Premier League, just fell short, which was a huge disappointment at the time. It's a tough job at Cardiff City, and the next manager will find that out as well. It's very difficult to appease everybody. I really look forward to my first return on Tuesday to see some really, really good people. Cardiff are looking for a new boss after recently getting rid of Errol Bulot. Asked if it is an attractive job, Harris said, it's the capital of Wales, it's a big football club, and you're brilliantly backed by Vincent, so yeah, it's a really, really good job, but the demand is to get it right. So there you go. No, very much like a job. You have to. There's targets. You have to meet the targets. If you don't meet the targets, it's ciao, good night, Vienna. Bye bye. Whereas if you're a fan's favourite, like Neil Harris at Millwall, obviously half of the fans will turn on you straight away, but half of them will have your back and say, hey, and they'll tell all the other half to shut the fuck up. Let's give it some time and let's see how he does. So there you go. Now, moving on to this from the official website, millfc.co.uk. Mill travel to Cardiff City in the Sky Bet Championship on Tuesday night, kick-off 7:45pm. Neil Harris takes his side to South Wales in an attempt to back up Saturday's 3-1 victory over Preston North End at the Den and register a first away success of the campaign. The head coach will be without Emakhu at the Cardiff City Stadium as the Irishman begins a 3-match suspension following a straight red card against the Lily Whites last weekend. Billy Mitchell, Adam Mayer, Tom Bradshaw and Josh Coburn will also miss the fixture through injury, whilst names such as Mihailo Ivanovic are available should Harris decide to make changes. Ryan Wintle, meanwhile, is unavailable as per the terms of his loan agreement. Yeah, he's on loan from Cardiff, so he's unavailable. Tickets are off sale, etc, 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 etc. Now, this match is overseas match passes available for Cardiff City trip. Obviously, if you are in the UK or Ireland, you can watch this game live on Sky Sports Plus if you have Sky Sports Plus. Overseas lines for fans, however, can stream this Tuesday's trip to Cardiff City for £10 through Millwall TV. So there you go. Check out the streaming passes below, including annual live video subscriptions for international fans, audio passes for UK-based supporters, and subscription to Millwall TV Plus, the home of Millwall video content. So there you go. Now, moving on to this from 11v11.com. It is the historical record of trips from Millwall to Cardiff City and the results. Not a lot of wins in Cardiff. I'm going to be honest with you. A hell of a lot of draws. So many draws. Look at this. In 2015, 2017, 2019, 2021. Draw. All draws. Last time out was a 1-0 loss. That was in December 2023. Before that, however, in January 2023, it was a win. A 1-0 win. But before that, a 3-1 defeat. And then that goes back to the draws, and that win was the first time we beat them in Cardiff since 2005. So that is a hell of a long time. And if we just add up all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we've got 8 wins in plus 1, carry the 4, extra 5 in 38 games. We've got 8 wins in 38 games. That's not very good. A hell of a lot of draws, though. Hell of a lot of draws. The worst result, the best result, in terms of draw, look, 4-4 draw in December 1930. That must have been a cracker game, 8 goals. This wasn't. 6 goals, but they were all for Cardiff in 1948, January 1948. 6-0 defeat. That's got hurt. Biggest win, so obviously we've only had 8 wins, so there's not many to choose from. The biggest win has been 3-1. Then we've done that twice. So we did that in March 1974, that was a 3-1 win, and we did it in December 2003, that was a 3-1 win. So it's genuinely a close game, or a game that we lose, and we don't lose it heavily that much. Obviously that's 6-0, there's a 4-1 down here in December 1977. But other than that, it's a very close game. There's a 3-1 here in 2021, of course. It's a very close game. A very close game. A lot of draws as well. So, I don't know if I think it's going to be a draw tomorrow, but only 8 wins in 38 trips to Cardiff. And obviously that's over various different grounds. How many different grounds have we played at Cardiff? Maybe, was it 2 or 3? Ninian Park, and then the new one, and then did we play them somewhere else? Were they in the Millennium Stadium for a time? While the ground was being built? I'm not too sure. But, yeah, so there you go. Now moving on to whoscored.com. So a closer look, more recent past, the last 6 games away at Cardiff. Not many goals. 6 goals for Cardiff. That's 1 per game average. 4 for Millwall. 13 yellow cards for them. 7 for us. So it seems kind of feisty fixture. Especially kind of weird that the home team gets more yellow cards than us. 2 wins, 3 draws, and 2 defeats for us. 3 draws and only 1 win in the last 6 trips. But has there never been a better time to go to Cardiff and get a win, to make it win number 9? They are rock bottom. They have only scored 2 goals in 7 games. They've conceded 17 goals in 7 games. They have only got 1 point from 7 games. That was a draw against Swansea. 1-1 draw away at Swansea. Both of those goals have come away from home. In that Swansea draw, and last week away at Hull. They have not scored at home yet in the league. See, we haven't got an away win yet. We've scored 4 times away from home, conceded 5. And we have no wins. We've got 2 draws and 1 defeat. Their home form, dog, they haven't scored 6 goals against, 3 defeats. But we scroll down and we see they played some of the cream of the crop. So this is Cardiff. This is sorted for Cardiff's home games and Millwall's away games. You can see Cardiff's games in the league: 2-0 defeat to Sunderland, 2-0 defeat to Middlesbrough, 2-0 defeat to Leeds. Those are some of the best teams in this league. Teams that are at the top of the table. Now we are kind of competing with them in terms of our attacking stats, but in terms of where we are on the table, we're not there yet. But however, Cardiff can score at home. They've got 2 cup games against Bristol Rovers. Not only did they score 2 goals, they kept a clean sheet. Hey, that's not bad. And then against Southampton, obviously, I imagine this was Southampton reserves, they lost 5-3. So they managed to score 3 goals but did concede 5 against Southampton in the League Cup second round. So they can do it. They can do it. Now, this is a big test because Millwall going to Cardiff. Which one of these are we going to... What kind of opposition are we going to be to Cardiff? Are we going to be this one, the Southampton? Or are we going to be this one, the Middlesbrough, the Leeds and the Sunderland? How good are we really? Can we keep a clean sheet against Cardiff? Can we score 2 goals? Because if we can, you would argue that we're as good as Sunderland, we're as good as Middlesbrough, we're as good as Leeds. Because why not? However, on the road, we kept a clean sheet, our only clean sheet against Hull. We failed to score against them. We dominated Queen's Park Rangers. We scored 1 goal, went looking for a second and got caught on the counter-attack and ended up drawing that game 1-1. Obviously, also under bridge now, but George Honeyman could have and should have scored and made it 2-1 to Millwall. And then, but obviously, they could have made it 2-2. But you imagine we could have won that game after that. Wasn't to be. It was a draw. Bristol City. What a game that was. You know, up, down and then up and then down again. In the cup game away at Portsmouth, who are 23rd, so they're similar to Cardiff, although they did make some changes in that game, as did we. We did keep a clean sheet in that game and we won 1-0. So, interesting. What's going to happen in this game? I don't know. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Cardiff can score goals at home. It's just the teams they played against stop them from doing it because they're very good teams. So here you can see strengths and weaknesses. Like we got a lot of strengths. They haven't. They got a lot of weaknesses. We got a few. So Cardiff's weakness is defending against skillful players, defending counter-attacks, defending against long shots. Well, that sounds good for us, no? And there's the styles of play. Okay, so having said that, let's get on to the prediction from whoscored.com. So let's have a look at these bets first. So Cardiff have been losing at both half-time and full-time in 7 of their last 9 matches. And they go for a Cardiff lose-lose. Cardiff have lost 8 of their last 9 matches in the Championship. So obviously this looks like it's going back to last season as well. Cardiff have seen under 2.5 goals in 8 of their last 9 home matches against Millwall in all competitions. So yeah, low scoring affair. Cardiff took the lead early on against Hull on Saturday thanks to Callum Robinson's 18th minute goal, but the Bluebirds crumbled soon after as they suffered a 4-1 away defeat. The managerless home side have scored just 2 goals in the Championship this season and have just 1 point to their name after 7 matches. A late Adamu Emakhu red card had no effect on the result of the weekend as a strong first half display set Millwall up for a 3-1 home win against Millwall. You what? For a win against Preston North End. The Lions are still searching for their first away league win of the season, although this game represents an excellent chance to end that run indeed. This is an away game that is very, very winnable. And they say Cardiff City 0, Millwall 1. So there you go. And interesting, if you look on the right hand side by the top players, their top player has a rating of 6.41. Our top player has a rating of 7.32, which is nearly a whole point higher, which is insane at this level. It's insane. So there you go. Now, so we've got a 1-0 victory predicted by whoscored.com. What about sportsmile.co.uk? So let's have a read of this. This is obviously a full match preview, going into quite some detail. Following a dreadful start to the post-Errol Buehler era, Cardiff City hope to snap their sequence of Championship defeats at home to Millwall on Tuesday evening. The Bluebirds' woes continued in a 4-1 hammering at the hands of Hull City last time out, while Neil Harris's troops were convincing 3-1 victors over the Preston North End. Rather than clear out his locker with the doomed Buehler, Former Bluebirds assistant boss Omar Riza stepped into the chair on an interim basis for the biggest job of his managerial career to date, having previously taken charge of Watford and England youth teams. Riza's reign, however, long may it last, got off to a dream start as Callum Robinson broke the deadlock against Hull at the weekend, but the Cardiff striker had only triggered a Tigers onslaught as Mohamed Belloumi, 2, Oscar Zambrano and Chris Bedia ripped the Bluebirds apart. Riza had mixed feelings about his first match in senior managerial capacity, claiming that the 4-1 scoreline was harsh, but also conceding that his side were ruthlessly punished for their mistakes as they slumped to their 5th successive loss in all competitions. And indeed, I think I saw a post-match comment from this guy saying that so many of these Cardiff players cannot do 90 minutes, that they've got very few players that can do an actual full 90 minutes. Propping up the championship standings in 24th place, Cardiff cannot rise above the relegation line no matter what happens in midweek, as the bottom place Bluebirds have a 4-point gap to make up to both 22nd place Preston and 21st place Coventry. Damn. Furthermore, Cardiff's only championship point this season was gleaned on the road, and the Bluebirds have suffered 3 consecutive 2-0 defeats on their home patch. Should they go down on Tuesday, it will mark the first time in their history that they have lost the first 4 home games of a league season. Ouch. Ouch. And I imagine that if we score early, or if we kind of just frustrate Cardiff and keep it 0-0 by half time, I imagine the fans will go crazy. They'll start turning on them. In contrast, Millwall have no difficulties sweeping aside their most recent visitors to the Den, scoring 3 against Preston in just 47 minutes as George Honeyman, Romain Esse and Macaulay Langstaff, finally off the mark for the championship season, made the net bulge. Jordan Story's consolation and a straight red card to Emakhu were 2 minor blots on Millwall's notebook in the dying embers, but those 2 incidents paled into insignificance in the grand scheme of things as the Lions marched their second league triumph of 24-25. Entrenched comfortably in mid-table thanks to their solid yet unspectacular start, Millwall sit 14th before Bristol City take on Swansea City in Sunday's showdown, and Harris's men now have some wrongs to right on their travels after making home advantage count at the weekend. Indeed, the Lions failed to win any of their first 3 championship away games of the new campaign, but Harris has seldom been outfought by his former club, avoiding defeat in each of his last 4 games against Cardiff as a manager. Millwall have also been beaten in just one of their last 4 matches against the Bluebirds in all competitions, although that one loss did come at the Cardiff City Stadium in December 2023, where Guta scored the only goal of the contest for the Welsh outfit. So obviously they're counting home and away games there. Team news. Cardiff's calls against Hull was not helped by a pair of injuries either side of the half-time whistle, as former Manchester United protege Will Fish came off just before the break, while Callum O'Dowda had to call it a day in the 73rd minute. Riza conceded that Fish had already reported pain in his hamstring before the game, and the 21-year-old will surely not make the cut this week after exacerbating the issue, but he could not give a definitive update on O'Dowda. So you've got a player who's saying he's got a pain in his hamstring injury, and you say, yeah, okay, go on then, carry on. Really? No wonder you're bottom of the table, man. That's how you treat people. Keon Atete, leg. Ritaro Tsundo, muscle. Jesper Darland, ankle. And Aaron Ramsey are also missing for the hosts, but Bewley is optimistic that Manolis Siopis and Dimitris Goutas will be fine for the midweek fixture. The latter missed the whole loss with a personal issue. Millwall attacker Emakhu endured arguably the most embarrassing 12 minutes of his career on Saturday. He was brought on in the 77th minute, was booked for diving in the 89th, and then sent off for violent conduct following a crash with Robbie Brady. The suspended Emakhu would never have started in Cardiff though, while Tom Bradshaw, Josh Coburn and Billy Mitchell are also missing for the visitors. Yeah, but obviously we're not sure about Aziz. Obviously the Millwall official club website didn't mention Aziz in their preview that he would be injured. Obviously he's touch and go. They said he might be back for Cardiff. So you've got Aziz and you've got Emakhu, probably 2 very quick players. So it would be nice to have one of them. And obviously Emakhu injured, so that's down to Aziz. But obviously you don't want to risk him. However, Langstaff filled the Coburn void expertly in the win over Preston, setting up Honeyman's drive before opening his championship account for the new campaign, and he will surely reprise his role at the top of the tack. And then they got that, and then they say Cardiff City 1, Millwall 2. Despite Riz's affirmations that he saw some encouraging stuff in Cardiff in their loss to Hull, the Bluebirds' defensive deficiencies are there to be exposed by a Millwall side on cloud 9. While we still have faith in Cardiff to end their barren scoreless streak on home soil, we also anticipate Harris's troops having enough in the attacking tank to earn their first away win of the league season. Bosh. So what do I say? I don't know, I don't know. This isn't going to be an easy game. It's going to be a battle. Obviously, if we, like I said, if we frustrate them and maybe score early, or just stop the game and just keep it 0-0 half time, kind of like stop them from doing anything in the game, if that makes sense, but don't score them. If we take it 0-0 at half time, I can see the fans turning on them, and then we can obviously maybe hit them on the counter in the second. Do I think they score? They might score. See, we know Jensen's not super polished yet. He said it might take him a few months. It could be possible that obviously in a stadium and in a goal that he's not used to, that he might have a ricket in him. So Cardiff could score. I mean, it is possible. And then, so that means, do we score 1? Do we score 2? Do we score 3? Obviously, Cardiff's defence can be opened up. Southampton did it, and other teams have done it. But I'm probably going to say I want it to be a win, but I'm not sure. It might be 1-1. It might be 1-1. It should be a win. I mean, they're abysmal at the moment. And if we have any aspirations to do anything in this league this season, this is a game that we need to win. We need to, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be, we have to grind it out. It's not going to be free flowing like it was in the last game at Preston. I don't think we're probably going to dominate as much as we did against QPR. I think it's going to be one of those where we have to grind it out. So I'm probably going to go 2-1. Yeah, I think we're going to win 2-1. So there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.